Hello viewers, welcome to our lecture series on Indian ethos in management, and today I am going to discuss with you the topic of managing through TRM, that is total resources management. Although we have discussed briefly about this topic in previous two lectures of mine, and this is an extension of the same. This is going to be part 3 of our lectures on total resources management, that the way we manage through total resources management, since we all are living in the age of totals, where we talk about total risk management, total quality management, and many totals are there. So, in that era, I told you briefly in the previous lecture of mine what exactly is the concept of TRM, what is the origin of this TRM, its role in the benchmarking, its role in asset activities, products, and SBU, that how to improve competitive advantage. And extending our discussion, I will be telling you about TRM and benchmarking, TRM and stakeholders, total resource management and knowledge management, and eventually we will talk about indicative parameters for developing stakeholders happiness index. So, with this as a brief agenda of today's lecture, I am going to tell you what exactly we are going to do in case of improving competitive advantage with the help of total resources management. There is a question at times in front of corporate managers, that how can we make improvement in our competitive advantage, how can we take advantage of being competitive, and that competitiveness need to be improved, because today I am competitive, tomorrow there might be a possibility that whatever efforts I have made, whatever collections I have done, whatever corrections I have done, whether they are still relevant or not, or do I need to improvise them. So, keeping that in mind, total resources management comes to our rescue, and it tells us how can we identify the and classify the asset activities, products, and strategic business units, because these four are the important classifications. So, when we go for applying TRM in a corporate enterprise, it is very much pertinent and important to focus our attention on asset activities, products, and strategic business units. Assets can be classified in terms of performing assets and non-performing assets, and so is the case of activities. It can also be classified as value adding activities and non-value adding activities, because in every business enterprise there are certain activities which basically add some value to our business enterprise, to our value chain, but at the same time there are certain activities which do not add any value at all, or at times they are causing some negative addition to the values which we have already created. So, we have to be very mindful when we classify our activities into value adding activities and non value adding activities, and we need to be more conscious and vigilant towards the non value adding activities, because either they are not adding any value, in that case also why are we wasting our assets in those activities if there is no value addition. And if there is some negativity, then of course that need to be taken care of, and that need our urgent and immediate attention, because these activities, they are somehow damaging our value chain. Further, the products can be classified in terms of positive contribution creating products and negative contribution creating activities, that is products, because we all know that when we talk about strategic management, we have to be very mindful about the products, our activities, assets, and of course the strategic business units, because whatever is positive, that is with us, but if there is something which is causing negativity into into the entire business process of ours, that need to be re-engineered, that need to be eliminated, that need to be taken care of when we talk about total resources management. And strategic business units, they can be classified as surplus generating, those which are considered as the cash cows, or what we call as profit centers, and there are some activities, some units which are loss making centers. So, loss making centers need to be shut down immediately with immediate effect, and profit surplus generating activities need to be strengthened with more and more resources. So, here we have to not only talk about the source of sources, but also the application of sources. When we are identifying, classifying surplus generating and loss making strategic business units, then there is a tacit motive, there is a clear motive that yes, we have to basically identify that these are our sources and where are they applied. If the application of sources is resulting into loss making units, then what is the point of carrying on or continuing with that specific strategic business unit. So we should do away with those kind of units which are actually a loss making units. So to summarize it, I would give you a brief classification of performing and non-performing assets, which are regarded as dead assets. Activities are classified in terms of value adding and non-value adding activities, or at times it is a value reducing activity, which is more harmful than our value adding, because value addition you are adding some value, but if it is value reducing, it means whatever is the status as of now in terms of your value chain, that also going to be reduced by this particular activity. So by being active in terms of this specific activity, we are causing great harm to the entire value chain. Products can be classified in terms of positive contribution making products and negative contribution making products. I told you briefly about it. And strategic business units, they are classified as profit making and loss making units. So this classification actually tells us or reflects in front of us that this is what we can do in terms of the positive asset activities, products and SBUs, and what we need to do in terms of negative asset, negative activities, negative products and negative strategic business units. So if they are negative, what could be done to convert them into either being positive or at least neutral? Although by being neutral we don't feel satisfied or we don't feel good, because they are basically using or involving utilization of certain resources. So what is the point of using that resource which is causing some negativity into our value chain, be it in terms of asset, activities, products or SBU? So whatever is the domain, we should be very mindful of the negative or loss making or NPAs, because they are the one which actually require our immediate attention. In total resources management, the focus is basically on the performing assets, on the value adding activities, positive contribution making products and profit making SBUs. But the negative aspect they require our immediate attention, and that is why we always understand that we have to leave the excess baggage behind, and such actions may facilitate the TRM process. So this is all about the classification of the activities, resources, products and SBUs in two broad classifications, positive and negative. Now when we talk about benchmarking or creating standards, and we have a question in our mind that whether TRM can do something to benchmarking or not. Benchmarking basically it is helping us in the identification of the gaps between the best practice and the existing practices, that whatever I am doing as of now, whether it is whether it is at par with the best practice or not, or if it is not, what is the extent of variance between the two. So whatever is the best practice in the industry, whether we as a company or as a product maker or as a marketing unit, whether we are following the same or not. If not, what are the reasons for it, and then we can take or make corrective steps into that. So this entire benchmarking process actually involves some kind of total resources management, and it helps us in crafting action plans to bridge the gap. We can plan our actions, that see this is what we can do to bridge this gap which is emerging here. So in this entire discourse of total resources management, the management practices related to management of various resources are compared with best of the practices in the industry, and what we are doing as of now, both are compared, and if there is any gap or difference, the corrective steps are taken to reach to that level, so that our company or organization or corporate setup is being known for its own standards and benchmarking, and we are nonetheless from our competitors, because of course customers are not going to buy our products if we are providing the less standard products or less standard services. So this is very important. Now moving on to the role of TRM and stakeholders. I told you in the previous lecture of mine that when we talk about stakeholders, somehow people relate it to customers only. Customers are of course very important component into the entire process of total resources management, because they are the only one from whom we are generating revenue. They are actually the only source in the entire chain of the business process. They are the only component, only stakeholder who are actually becoming the source of our revenue. Rest all activities involve some amount of cost, or they have some expectation from us. It is only the customer who is giving revenue to us, who is adding revenue to our business enterprise. So corporate, they can provide delight to their customers, but there are certain instances where they are satisfying their customers, or they are creating delight for their customers, but at the cost of environmental degradation, at the cost of a process which is not at all sustainable. So such delight could be very costly. It can lead to a social tussle, or what you call as at times the social disaster. So TRM basically aims at the optimum utilization of the resources and optimization of requirements of all the stakeholders, rather than focusing on only customers or on only employees. So customers and employees, they are basically the important component into our stakeholders list. But what about the other stakeholders? So TRM talks about the totality. TRM takes here a holistic approach. It adopts a holistic approach, and here the each stakeholder group has its own requirement. And TRM basically takes care of the concern raised by each and every stakeholder. If we look at the entire philosophy of total resources management, it says that all the resources, they are basically contributed by the different stakeholders. So all stakeholders need to get their own share into whatever revenue we are generating, or into whatever services we are offering. So their happiness, or what you call as ananda, it comes from satisfaction of their needs. And if the organization cares for the customers, which means they are offering the products which is having conformity with the expectations of the customers, they are providing right products at products of best quality at the right price and right type of quality, then of course customers feel good that yes, I'm basically buying a product of a company which is very much ethical in terms of its value delivery, in terms of delivering the value to their customers. But what about the employees who are actually working into your company? From where their happiness would come? As a stakeholder, it is our duty as a business enterprise, as a manager, it is our duty to ensure that employees are working in a conducive work environment. And not only conducive work environment, but they also feel motivated in the attainment of organizational goals. And they will only feel attached or involved when they are properly remunerated, when their remuneration is adequate, or it is having conformity with the kind of efforts they are making. So the proper remuneration is something which is the basic minimum requirement to ensure the happiness of the employees as a stakeholder. Because if you cannot value your employees, from where you would generate the value for your customers? Because the value which you are going to offer to your customers, it is coming from the hands of your employees. It is being delivered by the hands of your employees. And if those hands are not happy, if those hands are not being honored properly, then of course you cannot make your customers feel delighted, because you would find a reflection of resentment or dissatisfaction in their behavior, in their the way they deliver, the way they process the production. So we have to understand that employees' happiness is also another concern when we talk about total resources management. If we take the concern of suppliers, what exactly they expect? Suppliers, basically we are getting the entire inputs from suppliers. If I am into a manufacturing business, I am getting raw material from my suppliers. And if somehow I feel I commit a mistake of ignoring suppliers, what would happen? I'll never be getting the supply on time. So suppliers feel happy if their payments are made in time, and there is a transparency and honesty in the organization while dealing with the suppliers. If they feel that yes, this organization is very transparent, it is very honest in terms of dealing with us, and our payments are made on time, orders are being placed on time, and there is a reordering point at which the order is being placed, and we are supplying at the requisite time. So suppliers as a stakeholders, they do have a significant role to play, because unless I get my input, what would I process? If I am ignoring supplier, my workers are very good, my employees are happy, they are properly remunerated, customers are happy, they are getting good product. But imagine if supplier is not happy and supplier has not supplied the supplies at the requisite time, what would happen? Of course, the entire production process is going to face a halt, and they would not be able to deliver the products or the services to their customers on time. So we need to understand that each stakeholder have its significant role to play. Now coming to society, what is the role of society? Some people think that society have no direct role to play. We agree to that. It has no direct role in your production process. But imagine that you are getting your workforce from where? The society in which you are living. You are getting suppliers from where? The society in which you are living. You are getting customers from where? Of course, from society. So society need to be taken care of. Their concern need to be taken care of. And what you can do for society is, society feels happy if your company is eco-friendly and it is not causing any harm to the environment or to the atmosphere where you are working. So society feels happy if your company, your organization is eco-friendly and is not polluting the environment. So by simply doing this, that you are not causing any harm to the environment, you can basically give a reflection of your concern towards your society in which you are living. We all very often talk about the social marketing and societal marketing, that what you are doing for that. So societal marketing doesn't mean that you are only talking about the concerns of society in marketing. It is basically coming in your entire business process, into your entire resource management. Now coming to the government feels happy if organization pays its taxes honestly, because government is giving you the adequate infrastructure. Government can only offer you the best of infrastructure if their hands are strengthened, and the only source of government's revenue is the taxes. So if you are paying taxes honestly, then of course government is representing you, and as an artificial entity, as a company, it is of course your duty to pay taxes on time. So shareholders, of course, they feel happy if they get proper return on their capital. So there has to be adequate and timely payment of dividend, or if you are not paying dividend, if it is repatriated into the business, then too the proper value addition or economic value added need to be communicated to the shareholders. So my dear learners, in this way I just tried to give you a brief idea about some key stakeholders. That total resource management not only talks about managing the resources in totality, but it also talks about taking care of the concerns of all stakeholders in totality. So it is also talking about aggregating the stakeholders concern, making the total of the totals. So whatever totals you have, you are making a grand total of that in total resource management, whether it is your authority or it is your responsibility, whether it is your cost or it is your revenue, whether it is your resources or it is your customers. So as a good corporate citizen, company has to strive to keep everyone associated with it in a blissful state. So whosoever is in contact with you, they should feel at ease, they should feel good while interacting with your organization. This is what TRM, that is total resource management, talks about. Now there are certain researchers who have given some indicative parameters for developing stakeholders happiness index. They give a suggestion that why don't you develop a stakeholders happiness index, and give an idea that, see, this my company is, its value in terms of stakeholders happiness index is this is my value addition. So let us first discuss about those indicative parameters for developing stakeholders happiness index. If we take stakeholders, their happiness index indicator, and what are the parameters for developing index, then we can very well understand what we are going to in what manner we are going to develop this stakeholders happiness index. Say for instance, if I take customer as a stakeholder, and their happiness index is being indicated by SHIC. C here denotes customer, and SHI means it is stakeholders happiness index. So I am taking it as one of the component of stakeholders happiness index, customer as one of the component of stakeholders happiness index. Now for that, parameters for developing this index would be the quality of product which my company is offering, price at which I am offering my products, services, the kind of after sale services my company is offering, and the way we are handling to the complaints of the customers. That is customer care management or customer relationship management, CRM we talk about. So this is basically one of the component. If we take one stakeholder, their happiness index can be denoted by SHIC, and for that, for developing that happiness index for customers, the parameters behind it are quality, price, service and complaint handling. Moving ahead to employees, again the same in the same manner we would develop a happiness index. We can call it SHIE. E indicates employees, that is stakeholders happiness index for employees. Now for employees, parameters can be job satisfaction, career opportunities available in the company, the kind of escalation they are going to have in the company, the kind of career advancement plans they have, and ESOPs, that is employee stock option plans which the company is offering. So on the basis of these parameters, another index for another component of this stakeholder component index, happiness index, SHIE, can be developed. Third one is for suppliers. Suppliers is indicated by SU. Here for suppliers, the parameters for developing index would be payment systems, transparency and honesty in awarding contract. How honest we are in awarding contracts to the suppliers, whether it is a transparent process or not, or moreover we are making payment on time or not. So payment system and transparency and honesty in awarding contracts, these are two important components for developing this component of stakeholders happiness index called SHISU. SU indicates about the suppliers. Now the next one is society. For society, it can be indicated by SO. Here we would take the parameters like efforts taken to prevent pollution, philanthropic contributions, the way what is the contribution of our company as in terms of corporate social responsibility, CSR, whether we are, suppose if I take example of India, whether we are only conforming to the statutory obligations, that is spending 2% of profit on CSR activities. When I am falling in that limit, then only I will be spending, or it is more than that. So we can develop the index for society as well and show it like SHISO. For government it would be G, and parameter would be payment of taxes, and eventually for shareholders it would be fair return on capital invested, that whether the return which our shareholders are getting from the company, they are fair or not, and it would be indicated by SH. So in this way, my dear learners, we have taken these components here, and this is an indicative parameter for developing stakeholder happiness index, and it is on the basis of the happiness index for individual stakeholders, we can develop a total stakeholders happiness index, which is known as TOSHI, that is TOSHI, total stakeholder happiness index, which is developed by Professor Subhas Sharma. He has developed this, he has contributed this. I will be showing his contribution, that from which journal it has been taken under the section of acknowledgement. So total stakeholders happiness index, through a multiplicative formula, it can be developed and it can be computed. So if we have to show it in terms of a functional formula, these components can be represented like this. TOSHI is equal to SHIC into SHIE into SHISU into SHISO into SHIG into SHISH. So if I take these 6 stakeholders as an example, and your company has to develop a total stakeholders happiness index, we have to be very mindful here that the author has given this formula, a functional formula, which is having a multiplicative relationship among all stakeholders, which means if you are failing at any of the stakeholders, if you are not concerned about any of the stakeholders and your performance becomes 0, then your ultimate result would be 0, because they are multiplicative in nature. You are very good in terms of customer taking care of your customers' concern, you take care of your employees, you take care of your suppliers, you take care of society, you take care of your of the government, but at one of the parameter, suppose if you don't take care of, if you don't bother about your shareholders, and you feel that shareholders have given their capital, they are the owner of the company, and we would simply say them that the company has not made any profit, or company will not pay any dividend, and in that way we'll continue, because my customers are happy, employees are happy, we have got the capital at zero cost. So what is the point of making payment to them? They are the owner of the company, so why to retain them? Let others also come. If today they are leaving, some others may come. So this, your toshi will become zero. So this is what it indicates, that the beauty of this happiness index is that it is giving us an idea that we need to perform in a holistic manner. When we are talking about total resources management, we should be concerned about each and every stakeholders equally. Each and every stakeholder should be given the due importance, and their concern should not be ignored, because if you fall short at any of the level, for any of the stakeholders, your total performance, your total stakeholder happiness index is going to give you a value of 0, which in any case you won't expect to have. So toshi is in this way, it is giving us an idea. It can be replicated in your business enterprise depending on the requirement. So corporates within the same industry can be rated on the basis of toshi. You can rate them that see, this is the index of this company X and this is the index of company Y. Because this kind of information, if you start publishing in your annual report, that this is my stakeholders happiness index, this is what my company has developed, this information could induce a sense of accountability on the part of corporates. Corporates will feel more and more accountable. They would give a reflection of the same to all the stakeholders. Although there are different standards by UN also. There is a standard for this which is called as UNGRBC, that is United Nations Global Business Responsibility Index, that there you have to follow that standard, that whether your conduct is responsible or not in terms of business activities. So responsible business conduct, for that we have got many standards at international as well as at national level. But this kind of indexing, it can also be done to induce a sense of accountability on the part of corporate entities. If total stakeholders happiness index is to be improved, corporates should earn high points on a corporate reputation scale. So my dear learners, this indicative parameters for developing stakeholders happiness index is basically an indicative of what we can do to ensure the total stakeholders happiness in a business enterprise. So you can develop a corporate reputation scale there. So this total stakeholder happiness index is by showing its multiplicative nature among all stakeholders, basically paves the way for the corporate entities to ensure the holistic accountability, their accountability in a holistic manner. So Bala Subramaniam and Kimber in 2000, they have suggested a model of corporate reputation, and in that model they talked about the 4 aspects of corporate reputations, and they have defined those 4 aspects like products and services reputation, that the first reputation of yours is your identity card, is basically the product or service which you are offering. What is the reputation of that in the market? So what reputation your product have earned in the market, that is the first aspect of your corporate reputation. Second one is your business reputation, that as a business enterprise, what is your reputation, the kind of activities you are into, your business is into. Third one is credibility in financial markets, and last one is your social reputation. So these 4 aspects of corporate reputations, they basically form part of the model of corporate reputation given by Bala Subramaniam and Kimber, and they have given this model long back in the year 2000. So imagine that they could identify this product and services reputation, business reputation, and credibility in financial markets and social reputation. So my dear learners, in this way I tried to give you an idea about how to develop the stakeholders happiness index in a business enterprise and ensure the total resources management. I hope you must have enjoyed today's lecture of mine. Thank you so much.